It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head to California for a chance to get bowl eligible against Fresno State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Kyle Whittingham with an emotional tribute to his seniors in the postgame of that Kansas State game. You could tell he's very emotionally charged, and he was really happy to come out of that game with a win. That would have been a really horrifying loss because I think all the rushing yardages and all those things would have been accentuated, and it just would have been really tough to go into the locker room and talk to those players, and you come out of that thing with a win, and it changes the overall feel. So Kyle Whittingham, I think, kind of overwhelmed in that moment. I know people are reading into it. I think they're reading very deep into it, Lloyd, maybe a little bit too deep into it. Thinking, well, the tears and the emotion, and he's left the field for the final time as the head coach of the University of Utah. That's other people saying that. That's not me. Just so you know.
It's an emotional game.
It's an emotional game.
When you talk like that, it
is
an emotional game.
And I just want to be, even if I'm on an island and I sound stupid and look stupid, I don't think Kyle Whittingham's done until he's done. And I don't think anybody putting there he is as he walks off the field for the last time. I saw all the different social media posts and people saying, has to be the last one. You can see it in his eyes. I'm not there. I don't believe that. So I will stand firm in saying he's not done until he's done. Until he says he's done. That's when he's done. Kyle Whittingham addressed the media earlier today, and we always do the okay, all right. Scotty texted and said he's going with an all right. I think it's an okay kind of day. So give Scotty the all right. I think it's okay.
Good go? Okay. Really proud of our guys for the way they handled the game on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. It was, one of those games where just got to keep hanging in there and making plays, and our guys did just that, and were able to come out with a win. A lot of offense, obviously, on both sides. Not a lot of defense on either side, but it was good to get the win, and really for our seniors, it was awesome to see them be able to play their last game in Rice Eccles and go out with a win, and that was probably the biggest positive of the night the afternoon was seeing that happen. A lot of really good individual performances on offense. Devin Dampier was outstanding. Did miss a few throws early, but settled in and really played an excellent game, over 300 yards, well over 300 yards of total offense. Wayshawn Parker hit 100 yards again. Bird Ficklin added his usual positive things to the game, a couple touchdowns and some really good runs. Offensive line, again, did a nice job, rushed for almost 300 yards. So a lot of good things on offense. Obviously not our best game on defense. Got really... there's no real easy explanation to it. I mean, we just did not play the run game in any way, shape, or form with any consistency, with any degree of, it just wasn't good. And, we were doing everything we could do wrong, we did. We didn't fit the run gaps like we're supposed to. We didn't tackle like we usually do. We weren't as physical as we usually are in the front seven. So a lot of things that were just, just happened. And I guess that happens on rare occasions. But I got no doubt that those guys will bounce back this week. And they're a prideful group and have a lot of competitiveness in them. And so we'll hopefully get that thing turned back around and where it should be for this week. Kansas, got a road trip to Kansas to finish off the regular season. A lot like the team we just played, personnel-wise, physical, got some athletic guys. And so there's a lot of carryover from the last few games. There's a lot of carryover in this game from both sides of the football schematically that, things that we've seen. And so we got to be ready. It's a Friday kickoff, so a short week. got 1 day less to prepare, as do they, so there's no advantage one way or the other there. But looking for the opportunity to win a 10th game in the regular season, which I can't remember the last time we were able to do that, but it's been a few years, I believe. So anyway, questions?
Got Justin's question here.
Okay.
Last one of the year. After this historic win on Saturday, congrats on this historic win on Saturday. Joe Jackson, though, broke multiple records by 293 yards at Rice Eccles Stadium. Do you have a plan that will rectify this issue as we take on the Jayhawks this Friday? We
sure hope so. And yeah, he did a lot of damage, and it was really on one play, A-gap power. Just a basic, one of the most basic plays in football. There was nothing elaborate about the schemes, nothing that took us by surprise. Again, we just didn't fit the run game up at all, and it was an historically bad day defending the run. So yeah, we certainly got to have a better answer than we had last week.
And then after the game, you kind of showed some rare emotion there. What
yeah.
was it about was it the moment, the way that game transpired, or what kind of brought that up?
Not really. It's just the seniors, and you want them so badly to go out on a positive note and have a. They've been so instrumental to our success for a lot of years, that group, and have provided such great leadership this year, and been so just have done such a great job of keeping things on track, and just wanted them to be able to go out the right way, and against all odds they did. And it looked like for a minute it wasn't going to happen, and so they were able to do that, and that got the best of me. I don't usually get too emotional, and that did get the best of me. You're right.
Obviously, you have a decision to make about your future.
Mm-hmm.
What are the main factors that go into that decision? Is that something you start thinking about now, or is that something?
No, that's an after the season thing. After when it's all said and done, and whatever happens to us in the postseason, whichever situation we find ourselves in, as soon as everything's culminated, and you have a few days or maybe even a week or two to sit back and evaluate and see where you're at and go from there. So I guess that's the best answer I can give you right now.
Kyle, you guys left the Kansas State game a bit banged up. John Henry Daly, Ryan Davis, and I think even Spencer Fano. Are any of those season-ending or any of those long-term? Just walk me through that.
John Henry is long-term. Unfortunately, it's a season-ending injury, and felt bad for him. He was having a monster game. I think it was only 15 snaps in, and he had 4 or 5 impact plays, and so just tough to see that happened to John Henry. That's why I say it all the time. It's the worst part of college football is the injuries and seeing these guys, go down. And so he, unfortunately, is long term. The other guys, wait and see. We'll have the injury report. I don't know since it's a short week if it comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Usually it's Wednesday, but I don't know if it'll be Tuesday. Okay, so you'll find out tomorrow, and we'll find out more as the days go by here.
Coach, to follow up on that, you had players step up in their place, John Henry Daly and Ryan Davis, speaking of Cash and Lance, and then on offense with Larry and Creed. Mm-hmm. What can you say of those guys' performance stepping up?
Did a nice job, and all of them. You mentioned the guys that really picked up the slack. Creed has really come into his own this last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and even though he hasn't played a ton, just his practice, the way he's performing in practice, the things that were lacking in spring and earlier in the season have he's made those weaknesses become strengths, and so it was very positive to see him be able to come in and really give us a little bit of a spark. Cash Dillon is a guy that we think has a tremendous upside. He's played quite a few snaps already this year, but when we lost John Henry, it was up to him and Lance to come in and do some good things, and they both did, and so that's fortunate for us that we had depth at those positions.
Kyle, at this point last year, you guys were eliminated from bowl contention.
I was miserable at this point last year. Yeah, we all were.
So can you
maybe some were happy. I don't know. Maybe some.
Can you speak to just the turnaround, because now you guys are pushing for your first 10-win regular season since 2019.
2019. Okay.
Can you just talk about the turnaround that one calendar year has provided to this team?
Yeah. Well, again, credit the seniors for not having a hangover after the season, I guess you could say. Not only do you have hangovers after after games, you can have a little bit of a hangover after a season, and they would have none of that. We started off the off season on a very positive note way back in January, and again, due to their great leadership, and they're instrumental in getting things turned around. I mean, that's that's the real bottom line to what the success this season really is hinged upon, is the ownership that the players have taken in the program. Hey, Wes, I thought you were retired. Close? All right.
When are we golfing?
Soon.
Let's go.
Soon.
The last couple of years, your defense is the one that's kept you guys in games. And
Right.
It's a struggle. And the last couple of weeks, it's been the other way around. That's got to feel bizarre to you.
It's a departure, and certainly we had our struggles last year on defense, and again, those, not to belabor the point, we going on your fifth quarterback in the last game didn't help our cause at all, but we still played really good defense this year. I think we're probably third in the league in most categories: scoring defense, total defense, all the major categories, and so we're still playing good defense, but we're playing really good offense this year. Our offense is first, second, or third in most every category as well, and that's what has lent itself to a good season. And you're right, typically it's when we get in those tough games in the past, it was low-scoring defensive battles, but the offense has done a really good job this year putting points on the board. In fact, that was probably the biggest difference in the game Saturday, is we were 6 for 6 in the red zone, 6 touchdowns and 6 trips, and that's outstanding. We got one of the top, I got to believe we're in the top 5 or 6 in the nation in red zone touchdown percentage offensively. I don't have that stat at the tip of my fingers, but that was probably the biggest difference in the game.
You had 4 guys take direct snaps, whether it was Dan Pierre, Ficklin, Johnson, Parker. What does that do to a defense when they kind of don't know who to prepare for, who's going to have the ball first?
Exactly, and that's part of Jason's creativity and the way he game plans, and it's all designed to create matchup problems and show things that we haven't shown before, which are difficult for the defense but fit into what we're doing offensively, so there's not a huge learning curve for our guys. It's just a matter of using all your weapons to the utmost, and he has a real gift for that, Jason does, as far as putting kids or players in position to succeed and putting the defense in conflict.
Coach, you lead the country in red zone touchdown.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. What is it? It's got to be 80% or better.
82%.
82%, which...
above Georgia.
That's huge. Yeah. That is huge.
Can you talk about Devin Dampier and what he showed in that fourth quarter after battling through kind of a rough game to make the plays that he did?
That's who he is. You talk about a fierce competitor and a guy that never, ever even thinks about getting down on himself or anybody else. He's always positive, and it was manifest in that fourth quarter in particular. And what a great leader he is. I can't say enough good things about him and what he's meant to the program in the short time he's been here.
Over your tenure, you've always wanted to establish the run, but this year you have a chance to potentially break a school record in total rushing yards in the regular season. What does that mean just for you personally and also just for this team to be able to have that?
Well, for me personally, I love the physicality of the game, and there's nothing more that demonstrates physicality than running the football and defending the run. And if we're, what is the record? I don't know. How close are we? I don't know.
About 180, I believe.
Okay, well, I would say first of all, or second of all, that the offensive line is really the driving impetus behind that. I mean, we got a really good athletic quarterback that runs the ball well. We've got, Wayshawn Parker's coming to his own, but without an offensive line that can do the things that our guys have done all year, that stuff doesn't happen. And so that's a real credit to them and Jim Harding and the job he's done with those guys.
How would you evaluate Jason Beck this season? How has he helped?
A plus. A plus. We're only 11 games in, so we got 1 to go. I say only. We got 1 to go, but Jason has really been a huge positive force, and then the influx of the transfer portal guys have helped boost us as well. And then, but again, it all starts with a solid offensive line, and so yeah. But Jason's done a phenomenal job this year. Statistically, that is borne out in the numbers as well.
You've always struck me as a guy who doesn't worry about the things that you can't control.
That's a good analysis. Yeah, I'll take that.
But now you're in the changing landscape of college football. You're spending a lot of time and money investing in players that at the end of the year could be gone. How frustrating as a head coach has that become to you?
Well, it's a radical departure from how it used to be, and you used to know who 90+% of your roster is going to be from year to year as the guys go in and out. But now it's there's so much change, you better be on top of your game. You better have a good list of portal guys already put together, before the season ends to see, hey, if this guy hits the portal, we're definitely going to be interested in keep an eye out for that. And so I can't really say that. You just have to embrace the change because you can't do anything about it, as you said. Don't worry about what you can't control. So the portal is here. It's here to stay, in my opinion. And so you better embrace it and navigate it and use it to your advantage. And I think we've done a pretty good job. I really feel like our net portal results are way in the positive column than the negative column as far as who we lost and who we've gained.
Say two more. Kyle, piggybacking off of that, the portal window in January and last year, just with so many decisions to be made, it's kind of like you can't get a breath. But now there's sort of that dead period. Does that help when you're making decisions in terms of maybe say a retirement or player retainment and all of that stuff? How does that change your guys' process?
Yeah, we think it's going to help. Now, it's the first time through it with this format, so something's going to rear its ugly head, we're sure. But it seems to make more sense now than it ever has since the advent of the portal. And so as we navigate it and go through it, better feedback for you, a couple months than I do right now. But yeah, you gotta a chance now to take, as you said, a breather and time to evaluate, visit with your players, your roster, and try to retain your roster and find out what guys' plans are. And so I think it appears to be a real solid move on the rules committee part to structure it that way.
Last one from Samantha.
Blake has had an insane season. He's been top of PFF's coverage grades for you guys this season. Can you just speak about the importance of him in the secondary this year?
Yeah, case in point, I talk about the guys we've gained in the portal. He's one of them, Blake Cotton, and has been instrumental to our success on defense. As you mentioned, his statistics and the PFF stuff is all very good on him, and that's just another example of a guy coming in and contributing right away, and he's just been a huge positive. I hope he gets some postseason accolades because he sure deserves it, in my opinion.
There you go, Kyle Whittingham. We are going to have a conversation with Utah insider Steve Bartle coming up next, jump into this game, some of the details of it, and talk a little bit about how the Big 12 rankings will shake out. I would imagine Houston falls out of the top 25. I would guess that Arizona sneaks back into the top 25 with a nice win over the weekend. And that would mean that BYU would have a couple of teams that they've played and beat inside the top 25. So that'd be big for them. Also, University of Utah looking really good with one or two of these wins, including that win against Arizona State. That's a big-time win and sets them up nicely. Good win over Cincinnati, nice win over Baylor. Kansas State's been on the struggle, but that still was critical for them to come back and seal that. And we'll see what the College Football Playoff Committee does with them. We see what the AP did. It's ridiculous, but we'll talk to Steve Bartle about some of that stuff coming up next as well. Our Utah Insider, Bartle, next.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a huge Big 12 battle for the Cougars as they head to Cincinnati for a showdown against the Bearcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Lucky enough to have the man, the myth, and the legend, Steve Bartle, hanging out in studio with us. How you doing, Mr. Bartle?
Good, man. I need some shades. I need some shades real bad right now because the light shining from you, my man.
And an overcoat.
It's bright, dude. It's just bright.
There's only one man that wears shades in that seat. Only one.
Only one, man. I wish I could match that dude's aura.
Yeah, I know. I love him.
Yeah.
I love being around him. Love talking to Trevor Riley. Been just dear friends for a lot of years. And he shaded out.
Oh,
and it
yeah,
wasn't just
bro.
any normal shade. Like, I think those are the shades that Coach Prime gifted the whole team.
Oh, there you go.
Remember when they brought the shades in?
Yeah, I'm sure those are all one-of-one type shades.
Also, I noticed in the shade, there was a little round circle, so I think those are prescription shades.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
But that was great. What a comeback. What a win. Talk about I don't know even where to start with this game. Take us to the moment, the pick 2 by Teo Johnson, the pop-up by Smith Snowden, and how that changed the game. Or, you know what, let's start with this. Where do you think the game changed for Utah?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was right around that time. So Devin Dampier was 3rd and 9, I think, and he had the QB draw play and fumbled. And at that point, that was right at that time where up at Utah, the press box, you start to empty out to get down to the field, right? And as we're sort of transitioning from the press box out to the elevator to go down to the field, all of a sudden we hear the roar from the crowd. I shouldn't say roar, but noise from the crowd, and saw the Joe Jackson touchdown after the Dampier fumble. And at that point, you're just like, all right, well, we kind of know how this game is trending, and you're starting to work on your content and how you're going to frame things. And by the time we got to the elevator, Teo Johnson was running back an interception, and we're unaware kind of like what's going on. And at that point, I was with Josh Bennett, my co-host of the Utah Blockcast, and he says to me at that moment, he's like, that's actually really big to get that 2 points for you in that moment. That was really kind of the play that changed the game, the final 7 minutes. We got down to the field, and we've got fans behind us that are, debating whether Utah's going to be able to get the win or not. And there's this little kid that's just trying to will everybody to believe in winning. And it was surreal to watch those final minutes unfold. It was 4th and 1, and Dev rips off the 59-yard run, and that place erupted. It was reminiscent of the 2022 game with Cam Rising against USC. It was reminiscent of, Britton Covey's return against Oregon. The place erupted. And from that moment on, those final couple of minutes, Rice-Eccles Stadium was as loud as it's been for that stretch of time that I've ever heard. Those final 3 minutes were huge for Utah.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
The loudest you've ever heard.
Among the best, among the loudest. And that's saying something, because at 7 minutes, you see the touchdown, you see the turnover, the touchdown, and, fans, not criticizing them for leaving, but a lot of fans left. And for a lot of fans that were still there, Kyle Whittingham, said it best, that they were given a pretty special treat to for those that hung around for that one.
When you said a lot left, because I went back and watched most of it, you can't see it.
No.
When you say a lot left, how many is a lot?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but just from what it was.
Could you give me a percentage? 10%?
10, 15, 20% of the stadium left. 7 minutes to left. Again, Kansas State going up 10 or going up 12 with an opportunity to add a 2-point conversion, go up 14, 7 minutes left. There haven't been too many games like that where you've seen a comeback in that sort of, and the way that Kansas State was playing, it was wild. It was crazy. So for Utah to fight back, and again, I think it speaks to the never die attitude that Whittingham has instilled in that program up there. That's what we saw Saturday night.
What's it like for you as a lifetime Ute coverer? What's it like for you to see 51 points on the board and a Utah offense answer the call? I was going through the play-by-play script on this thing, and it was like Kansas State touchdown, Utah touchdown, Kansas State touchdown, Utah touchdown, and just answering. And then when you really needed it, clamp down. And still, the defense gave you the win with an interception.
Yeah.
The defense gave you a win with the batted pass from Snowden that landed in Teo's hands for the pick 2. Like, the defense still gave you the moments. But what's that like for you to see a Utah offense that can put up 51 points?
Yeah, it's remarkable. And again, I go back to that 2022 game, Utah versus USC. Caleb Williams jumping out to a big lead with the Trojan offense that they had that year. It was one of the top offenses with Lincoln Riley and Williams, and they were, getting a lot of offense. And it just felt at that time, during that game early on, the first quarter, you're just like, oh, there's no way Utah's going to be able to hang into this one. And then, so that's where I feel like I make that comparison to that game is, Utah just continued to, answer. And that, to me, was really indicative of this team and that offense, with the leaders that they have on that side of the ball with Dev and Spencer and Jaron Kump, who's played in a lot of big games for Utah. He's been here he's been at Utah since 2019, 2020. He's seen a lot of big games. And, for that group to continue to respond, despite those back-breaking plays that the defense gave up, which was just wild to see Utah give up that amount of yardage. I think it was 384 in the first half alone on the ground. It was a record. Only New Mexico had 407 yards in total. That was the only game where at halftime, again, Kansas State, I think it was 384 or 348. I'm dyslexic. But that was the only other game that had more rushing yardage, and that was a total game. So Utah giving up that amount in the first half was wild. But for the offense to answer each and every time was really significant. And Kyle talked about it today, but they went 6 for 6 in the red zone for touchdowns, and I think
still number one in the country.
Number one
zone.
in the country, 82% touchdown percentage, and that is arguably the biggest difference this year from last year is Utah's red zone production this year.
They get in and it's over.
Yeah,
I'll tell you when my back broke and I put a white flag, and said it's over. It was the fumble that led to a touchdown.
Yeah.
At that point, you're down 41-35. You fumble it. And by the way, just a pure effort to try to get to the markers.
For sure.
Devin was doing everything he could. And Kansas State takes it, goes 3 plays, 26 yards. They go up 47-35 at the time. I think it was 47-35.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, nah, it's over. And lo and behold, they were able to push back in that moment. They get a touchdown. They force a Kansas State punt. They get a touchdown, and then they end it with the interception.
Yeah.
Just incredible. I don't – when the fumble popped out, you just think it's over.
That was it. No, that was it. And like we were saying earlier, a lot of fans felt the same way. That was a back-breaking moment to see that fumble because Utah hadn't been able to stop the K-State attack. And it was an unfamiliar game for a lot of Utah fans, I'm sure, because of the defensive struggles and the way that the offense was still, responding throughout the night. But Dev really stepped up for Utah in those final moments. It wasn't his best performance this season up to that point, but he dug deep, made plays, especially responding after the fumble. To make the plays that he did, the throw that he did to Larry Simmons for the touchdown was a dot, and he just answered the call in the clutch moments for Utah down the stretch.
So, let's talk about this, Steve. What's next for Utah? What is possible for Utah in the remaining parts of this season? They play Kansas. That should be a good win. They now stack 10 wins. They've got some good wins in it. The Arizona State win is proving to be very good. Mm-hmm. Arizona State in the back and forth with Colorado, but finished out really strong. Vegas still owns the rights to the Pac-12 legacy, so Vegas could select them. Alamo Bowl is up there. Obviously, Pop-Tarts Bowl still possible and up there.
Yep.
I'm trying to make sense of what's next, what's left.
Yeah.
Give me the high side of Utah and give me the low side of Utah.
Yeah, just the absolute chaotic weekend that Week 14 could potentially be. Utah still has a chance to get to the Big 12 title game, but again, you're going to need a West Virginia team to knock off Texas Tech. That seems very, 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 very unlikely. But still,
it would be great.
Crazier things have happened. And I think that would lead to a Utah-BYU Big 12 title game, which would just be the most Big 12 thing to happen. The one team that beat both BYU and Utah this season ends up outside of the Big 12 title game because of the tiebreakers and all that would have to happen. There's more than just West Virginia. But if you lose to West Virginia, I don't know that you deserve a title shot.
No.
So let's put that out there first and foremost. But there would be other things that would need to play out. Obviously, BYU would also have to lose to UCF. I think obviously Utah would need to win, and I think Arizona State would need to win. But that's the most chaotic, best case scenario for Utah would be just an absolute chaotic Week 14 to then get to the Big 12 title game next weekend. Beyond that, you still have potential for chaos in the college football playoff race.
In the top 10.
In the top 10. I think, if Oklahoma loses to LSU, that's an interesting one. We'll see what happens with the rest of the top 10, but there's still that. Obviously, it's not a great.
Alabama's got to play Auburn.
Yeah,
Auburn's not real good.
No,
I don't think Alabama's real good. I think they're just. I think both BYU and Utah would crack them.
Right. We'll see. I don't want to put up the "We Want Bama" sign just yet, but
I would love to see that game.
I would love it. Yeah, I would love it. I would love the opportunity for sure. And I think, Utah's still fighting for a lot. And what's interesting about these bowl games, I didn't realize the Las Vegas Bowl is now a December 31st bowl game. I don't know when that changed. It must have changed recently.
Which bowl game?
The Las Vegas Bowl.
December 31st.
And so, that's an interesting one. Pop-Tarts Bowl, obviously, and then the Alamo Bowl. So we'll see what ends up happening. But there's still, a lot on the table for Utah to finish out the season.
A lot on the table and a lot to be proud of what this Utah team has accomplished and what they're doing offensively. Tell me this, Steve. How does the future of Utah? You know what? Let's move this way. Let's move in this direction. Because everybody saw Utah get this win, this comeback win, very emotionally straining on Kyle Whittingham. He was emotional in the post game, and I was just telling Lloyd, I'm going to stand by this. I just don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. There was so much going through social media of, this was the indicator. I don't think it is. I think that his Grinch-like heart is starting to grow in size because his Whoville seniors have built up this love in his chest. Mm-hmm. And I think he's starting to feel it a little bit. But I don't think he's done. I want to know where you stand.
It's an interesting conversation. I think Kyle Whittingham has loved this team and this season and what it's meant for Utah football. You can tell how much the program means to him. You can tell how much the university means to him. And his big thing going back to last year was, not wanting to leave the program on a sour note, on a low note, right? He wanted to finish stronger, and he couldn't stomach leaving the program with a 5-7 record and, some of the worst things that have happened to the program in a really long time, the 7-game losing streak. I don't know how many times we talked about that, Lloyd, but that was one that you had to go back in the record books to see the last time they had that. And I think Kyle Whittingham, I'm sure there's still the debate of what he genuinely wants to do. Does he want to come back? Does he want to take on that next phase of his life? And I think when the dust settles and he's able to kind of sit back and see what he accomplished this season, he's definitely set up Utah on a much better trajectory. Everybody knows what is next for Utah when he does decide to call it a career. Morgan Scalley will step up, and I think there's a lot of excitement and optimism about what he'll be as a head coach. Obviously, he's not going to have the answers in year one and year two. It's going to be a process for him, but there's a lot of faith in him. And I think, a lot of fans appreciate what Whittingham has accomplished. And, all you have to do is drive up to the university to see how that campus has evolved.
Oh, yeah.
All of that, I shouldn't say all of that, but a lot of that is
a large portion.
A lot of that is due to what Whittingham accomplished in his career to get that Pac-12 invite, and to see that campus evolve. That a lot of credit belongs to Whittingham for all of that.
You got to tip your cap.
Absolutely.
And I envision a time where Whittingham's name is on the stadium.
Oh yeah,
he's had that level, that significant of an impact, taking them through Pac-12 adjustments, now taking them into Big 12 adjustments, and we've seen the path. A similar path to what Kalani did with BYU, kind of a down first season, and then you get to 10-2 in the second season.
Yeah,
that's where Kyle's standing currently. He should get to 10-2, and he should have it nice and established. A lot of me, Steve, is just I don't want change. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him go. And so maybe I'm just sitting here in my own selfish optimism, and maybe he's got grander plans with grandkids and a design on life. I don't see it.
Yeah. It's so foreign to us, right? there are students at the University of Utah that they've only known Kyle Whittingham as the head coach because, he's been here for 20 some odd years. And he's meant so much to the program that it would be kind of surreal to not see him walking the sidelines each and every Saturday. It's surreal and it's going to be a lengthy time to adjust and transition to that next phase. But I think, he's done a lot. He's done a lot for the university where he can, whenever he does decide to hang it up, that he can feel really proud about what he accomplished as the head man of Utah football.
Well, Steve, Friday game, a Friday day kick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, not great. Friday Black Friday, post-Thanksgiving out in Kansas, 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
So
Central
are you
going
to leave on Thanksgiving night? Or?
No, I'm leaving Wednesday because, flights and budgets and all that sort of stuff. And
so you leave Wednesday?
Yep.
You'll spend Thanksgiving
alone in Kansas City. So if there are any listeners out there in KC, hit your guy up.
Yeah, hit your guy up, man. Let's get him out to a good Thanksgiving. But Steve, thank you, man. You do a fantastic job for KSLSports.com. And,
appreciate you.
You have definitely upped the value, so appreciate you. Really appreciate you, man, and your time.
Appreciate you, Hans. Thank you, man.
There you go, Steve Bartle. He is the absolute man with his coverage at KSLSports.com. You can read all of his material as he takes the trip Wednesday out there for you. He's doing this for you. He's sacrificing his time on the road in Kansas.
Can't think of anywhere I'd rather be than Kansas for Thanksgiving.
Oh, jeez. I could think of a few places, but at least it's not tornado season. All right. Great stuff by Steve. Take a quick one. We'll come back and give you a few final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up and get you ready for the boys, Alex and JJ, coming up next.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
The regular season comes to an end for Kyle Whittingham and the Utes as they hit the road for a battle against Kansas. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Remember to take care of Thanksgiving through Kenny J's Barbecue. I did. You should too. I'm going to be picking up the slow-smoked turkey breast and my slow-smoked brisket that I'll take home. I'm going to pick it up Thursday morning, the morning of Thanksgiving, from Kenny J's out there in Draper. And I'm going to take it home, keep it in the tinfoil. We're going to eat around 1:30. I'll open up that tinfoil, all the amazing smells, and I'm going to tell everybody at the Thanksgiving table, look what I did. This was me. I'm taking full credit for it. I don't care.
You should.
But Kenny J's is going to be cooking it for me. Text them, and you can get that order ready. 801-230-5396, please.
Kenny J can make you look good, too.
Oh, he can make you look so good. His turkey breasts, it is fall apart delicious. It's juicy. It's moist. It's everything you want in a turkey breast. So just text 801-230-5396. Two quick things. Number one, Cincinnati's athletic director has issued an apology for his fans' behavior, and I don't accept it because it's just another empty apology. And, this was maybe one of the worst that I'd heard in terms of the amount of fans participating in F the Mormons. If you want to go F the Cougars or if you want to go F BYU, it's fine. But you got a lot of members of a religion from that area, too, that are bringing their young kids. And they're listening to a fan base chant F that religion. It's just pathetic. It's disgusting. It feels like, okay, well, I thought we've kind of evolved a bit as a society to be more thoughtful of others. And it is such a stab to BYU fans. Fine, go F BYU or F the Cougars. If you just want to use a foul word and you want to act like you're a strong fan base and we hate you, well, that's fine. Go with the school or go with the mascot. I don't care about that. But this is getting ridiculous. I'm expecting to hear something from Yormark.
I was going to say, when do you think we'll hear that? Because it seemed like, like that one with Colorado, it happened very quickly. It seemed like it was by
I thought it was
Sunday.
by Monday. No, I thought it was by Monday.
No, was it Monday? Okay.
I think so. I think that it was issued by Monday. I'm expecting something here. Maybe JJ and Alex will see it. If not, it should be on Tuesday. But something needs to be handed down and done about it because it's a real bummer. It's a bummer, man.
Well, it's become a problem, and it's almost like when you know somebody doesn't like something, a lot of people like to try to do that to get under their skin. This is not the thing to try to do to get under somebody's skin.
It's not, man.
This ain't this ain't it.
The Cougar fan base, I can't remember. I think it was 27,000 pounds of food that they raised for the Cincinnati Food Bank. It's like the single largest donation in Cincinnati Food Bank history. They raise all this food. You know, our those Cougar fans, they buy the tickets. They fill up your stadium. They buy your food. They buy your concessions. They buy your tickets. Now, they did kind of take over the stadium, and they were very loud.
Not their fault.
But that's just them being supportive. And to have a fan base sit there and F the religion, just F the school, fine, F the school. If you got to be a foul-mouthed jerk and disgusting, then F the school. It's so disgusting to me. It's so unnecessary. I just can't imagine Notre Dame being in LaVell Edwards Stadium and having LaVell Edwards Stadium go, F the Catholics. I just can't even imagine it. I'd be horrified to ever be associated with that school. It's embarrassing, man, and I hate to get all bent out of shape about it, but this is, by the way, this is where our society has taken us now. We can't just let things fall off our back. So I'm hoping that the commissioner takes a fine stand. And by the way, that's a huge road win. That's a big road win. Good team. Big road win by BYU. Scotty gets back tomorrow. We'll talk a lot about BYU and that Cincinnati road win and so much more on your Thanksgiving week. JJ and Alex next.